Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today is 10th of May. It is the Madhusudana Masa or Vaishaka Masa, Shukla Paksham Trayodasi Tithi. So today there is one event. So today is the disappearance day of Shri Jayananda Prabhu. So we should read from this Pandisaki.com. So I request Sanjita Mataji to read this about Jayananda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. The test of a theory is in its implementation. While one can spend a lot of time analyzing the process of bhakti, faith readily comes when one sees the theory in action. Jayananda Prabhu is such a devotee who exemplified in almost anal what's the word, bro? In
And almost
almost okay, yeah. In an almost classical manner, the process of bhakti from inception to completion. When he left his body on 1st May 1977, Srila Prabhupada instructed that his disappearance day should be celebrated as that of a great Vaishnava. Observing the pastimes of such devotees greatly reaffirms one's faith in the process of bhakti. The background. Jim Kaur was the all American boy, handsome, strong, intelligent, born in an upper middle class family. A good student, he took a degree in mechanical engineering from Ohio State University. However, despite his outward trappings of success, he was often unhappy, empty, and dissatisfied with the material conception of life. Jim did not fit into the upper class crowd. So it was not very surprising that he ended up driving cabs in San Francisco. Though an introspective person, he was not really religious. His depression was almost suicidal when in 1967 he happened to read a small article in the San Francisco paper about an Indian Swami who had come to the Bay Area to propagate the chanting of the names of God. For some reason, the article ignited a ray of hope within him. He resolved to attend the lecture of the Indian Swami. In the Bhagavad Gita 7.16, Krishna says, "Four kinds of pious men begins to render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute." Jim was searching for answers from the material miseries, and in such a mood he took his first step towards his destiny. The beginnings. Jim was instantly attracted to the Indian Swami, who was none other than Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON. He had been in USA for only a year and was in the process of establishing his mission of bringing Krishna consciousness to the Western world. Jim began to regularly attend the morning Bhagavatam lectures of Srila Prabhupada. On some occasions, Jim would be the only guest listening to the morning lecture. Soon he became very attracted to Srila Prabhupada and his teachings. Prabhupada lovingly reciprocated and would sometimes personally cook prasadam for Jim and serve him. Soon thereafter, Srila Prabhupada accepted Jim as his disciple and initiated him with the spiritual name Jayananda. In Chaitanya Chaitamrit Madhya Leela 19.151, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets the opportunity to associate with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. By the mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of the creeper of devotional service. In this way, Jayananda received the seed of devotion out of the causeless mercy of Srila Prabhupada. From the instructions and teachings presented by Srila Prabhupada, he understood his special relationship with Krishna, with Guru, and that there is an authorized process to establish this relationship. Attraction to Krishna consciousness. Jayananda was completely enamored by Krishna consciousness. He would rise every day morning before 4, do a little arti, chant his rounds of japa, read and cook prasad. Then he would go for his incense run, selling incense sticks. He never deviated from this. He was completely happy as long as he was practicing Krishna consciousness. Jayananda worshipped Jayananda worshipped prasadam. When a little prasadam spilled on the floor, he would lick it up. He loved to cook, eat, offer, and distribute prasadam in a big way. He even said prasadam with so much love and devotion that it made one immediately want to take some. Another example of his attachment to Krishna consciousness was his love for the holy name. He was always seen chanting and dancing enthusiastically during kirtans. One day, after working hard for 10 hours straight, when all the other devotees were looking forward for some rest, Jananda enthusiastically bounced into the temple room for kirtan. His japa was very intense, very focused, as he strove to personally associate with each and every syllable of the Maha Mantra. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami mentions the process of sadhana bhakti begins with a little faith, Shraddha. This faith then blossoms into the desire for devotee association, sadhu sangha, and then into bhajan kriya, devotional service. Similarly, Jayananda, after receiving the association of Srila Prabhupada and other devotees at the temple, began to execute devotional service as per the instructions he received from his spiritual master. As he executed his sadhana sincerely, he became purified of the material impediments to devotional service, anartha nivriti, and began to manifest all attractive qualities of a pure devotee. Humility. Humility was certainly Jayananda's most prominent quality. He treated everyone as his superior, even new devotees. Although his service was glorious, he never wanted any glory. He avoided praise like the plague. Devotees got to know that if they wanted to keep Jayananda's association, they would better not praise him. His humility was very natural, and he always found something other than himself that was praiseworthy. Even though he was a senior devotee, older than most of the people around him, and eminently qualified, he was happy to simply serve. Once a new boy at the temple wanted to do some service and was asked to help with the trash. Uh, The weekly trash run was done by Jayananda, who cheerfully took uh, the little help the boy gave. Later, when the boy became a devotee, he remembered thinking, if the garbage men at this temple can be so blissful, just imagine what the rest of the devotees are like. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the third verse of Sikshashtakam says down the qualification of offenseless chanting. One can chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking himself lower than the straw of in the street. One should be more tolerant than the tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Jananda exemplified this verse. He was so humble that just being in his association would make one feel ashamed of one's pride. He was very special, yet no one paid any attention to him. That was just the way he liked things. Service attitude. Jayananda was an expert at everything: cooking, preaching, deity worship, public relations, sankirtan, selling incense, construction, and anything that it took to spread Krishna consciousness. He was a tireless worker, first to rise in the morning and last to sleep at night. He was always running out to get flowers, washing dishes, cleaning the kitchen, and taking out the trash. Whatever service was given, he would make sure that it was done, no matter how busy he was and how much personal hardships he had to endure for it. No matter how hard he was working, he would never stop for a nap during the day. He seemed inexhaustible. Many times when Jananda went to Berkeley to distribute leftover prasadam, he would first organize a crew to clean the kitchen, working twice as hard as anybody else. When he then he would transfer the prasadam, load it into the van, drive it to Berkeley, organize the distribution there, and have Kirtan for all that was going on. Many years later, he readily accepted this position of the driver of the Radha Damodar traveling Sankirtan party, working side by side with brahmacharis, scarcely half his age. In spite of his advanced position and seniority, he never asked for anything special and readily accepted menial position under new devotees. In the Vishnu Purana, Sri Krishna informs Arjuna that one who claims to be my devotee is actually not my devotee. One who claims to be the devotee of my devotees is actually my devotee. Jayananda completely manifested this quality. He was always striving to be Dasanudas, the servant of the servant. But there was no artificial humility in him. Material humility is relative. It is predicted on the qualifications of the recipients. Jayananda had spiritual humility. It was absolute without any consideration of the status or qualities of the recipient. He served everyone and expected no one to serve him. The process of remembering, discussing, or enumerating the qualities of the pastimes of Lord and his devotees are very purifying. This week, we continue the discussion of the qualities of Jayananda Prabhu, who is relatively who, in the relatively short time he was associated with Krishna consciousness, perfected his devotional service and left us many instructions by example. Freedom from fault finding. Perhaps the most defining characteristics of Jayananda was he never criticized anyone. Even if a devotee did something that warranted criticism, he would usually not say anything or else make the mistake appear as something perfectly natural. He never spoke harsh words or chastised anybody. Sometimes devotees would come to him with expansive ideas of how to spread Krishna consciousness. Jayananda would encourage these ideas, however extraordinary. At the same time, he was not a fool. He could always pick up the right man for the job. In the Nectar of Instructions, verse 5, Srila Rupa Goswami says, one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. Jayananda could not even bear to hear the criticism of another devotee. If such a thing were happening, he would simply leave the room. These are the characteristics of an Uttamadhikari, one who has reached the highest level of perfection in his sadhana bhakti, dear to everyone. Like the six Goswamis, Jayananda was dear to both the gentle and the ruffians. He was as much at home with the Italians at the produce market as he was with the brahmacharis at the temple. Once a devotee was approached by a staggering drunk in San Francisco who looked at his robes and asked, hey, where is my old friend Jayananda? Many devotees who took over Jayananda's old territory would meet people who would say things like, where is Johnny Ananda? Or that man? He's the nicest and most pure man I've met, or I don't know how much about your philosophy, but if Jayananda is into it, it must be all right. One woman public official on the San Francisco board was famous for giving the devotee a hard time during Rath Yatra. One year, when the devotees approached her, she asked, "Where is Jayananda?" On hearing that he had passed away, she broke down and began to cry. That purity in Jayananda's heart would touch the even most cynical. In Bhagavad Gita 5.7, Sri Krishna says that one who works in devotion is who is a pure soul and who controls his mind and senses is dear to everyone and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. Everyone loved Jayananda since he had completely transcendental bodily concept. He would approach a drunk, a hippie, a devotee with the same compassion and enthusiasm. He spoke to the super soul in everyone, and everyone responded accordingly. Like Maharaj Yudhishthir, Jayananda's enemies was never born. Expert at engaging everyone. It is said that Krishna has nothing to do with non devotees. His devotees are even more compassionate than him and will try to engage them in Lord's service. Jayananda was eager to see everyone engaged in Krishna's service. Whenever a new bhakta would come, Jayananda made him feel he was engaged in important work. He was older, bigger, and stronger he just just anyone in the temple, and everyone was glad to be working under him. His preaching style was very simple and direct. He would speak from the heart to heart. Once he was preaching to a couple of hippies while crawled under an automobile. All that was visible was all that was visible of him was a pair of legs. Yet the two hippies stood there, transfixed by his message. During Rath Yatra time, he would organize a crew of cynics, hippies, bloopers, uncooperative personalities, and non devotees of the street to help build the cart. He would get them to work for 10 to 14 hours a day, always glorifying them. In Chaitanya Chaitamrita Antlila, verse 7.11, it is stated the fundamental religious system in the age of Kali is the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Unless empowered by Krishna, one cannot propagate the Sankirtana movement. Because of the genuine compassion in Jayananda, Krishna gave him the unique ability to make people want to render devotional service directly or indirectly, materially renounced. Jayananda had almost no possessions, even during his years as a householder. Whatever he had, he used for the service of the temple and Srila Prabhupada. When he was gifted $5,000, he promptly donated that to Srila Prabhupada. In the introduction of the Nectar of Devotion, Srila Prabhupada acknowledges this contribution. For many years, he was almost single handedly supporting the temple by driving his cab 12 to 14 hours a day. When he was in the last days of life, he used the money given to him for his treatment to support the Rath Yatra in Los Angeles. He was extremely careful that what he considered to be Srila Prabhupada's money. When selling incense, he would sleep on park benches on a bitter cold rather than spend money in a motel. He used his considerable charm to get people to donate almost everything that was needed. When he could not when he could not get for free, he made sure he received a good value for the money spent. His final lesson in material detachment came when it was discovered that he was suffering from cancer of the lymph and blood. Jayananda continued as if nothing has changed. When his body became frail and weak, he continued preaching, inspiring, organizing from his bed in the hospital. From him, the body was simply for him, the body was simply a means to render devotional service to the Lord. In Chaitanya Chaitamrita Madhya 6.254, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu summarizes in the phrases Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga. which means renunciation through the wisdom that comes from practicing devotional service. Jayananda was a true sannyasi, as one who did not just renounce material objects, but actually renounce the desire for these material objects. He was always eager to use everything for the service of Krishna. However, he had no personal desire for anything material. Jayananda, king of Rath Yatra. Jayananda was the backbone of Bay Area Rath Yatra for several years. Behind the scene, he would do everything for the preparation of the festival. He would beg food, flowers, funds, buy materials, and build the cart. He would arrange for the permits, organize the cooking and serving of prasadam. Although things always went down the wire, he would consistently succeed in fulfilling all these plans every year. After the festival, he took a cake or a pie for each and every person who had somehow helped in the festival. Because of his efforts, the Bay Area devotees to this day enjoy an amazingly harmonious relationship with the city officials. In his last days, Jayananda was busy organizing the Rath Yatra from the hospital bed. He would talk to people on the phone, send his associates to meet various persons, and big things began to miraculously materialize. Every moment of his life was preciously used in the service of Krishna. Mystic opulence. It is said that pure devotional service brings about much opulence. Thought of the Thought the devotees never seek them out. Once they were there, they are used for the service of Krishna. Jananda apparently would function with very little or even non-sleep. Towards the last few days of the Rath Yatra, he would he would he would sleepless than he would sleep less than 3 hours a day, yet he was the most energetic and enlivened member of the crew. His propensity to consume prasad was astonishing. He would consume buckets of halwa, plates of samosa, and potatoes without any side effect. When he was in his last days, he was put on an intravenous diet. Yet he would often ask devotees to sneak in huge quantities of samosa and cheese potatoes for him, which he would happily consume without any apparent distress. He would sometimes sleep in the Bhagavatam classes since he was very tired, yet later on he would perfectly quote from the class and have a deep discussion about its contents. In Bhagavad Gita 4:26, Shri Krishna declares that one who is engaged in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at one transcends the mode of material nature and thus comes to a level of Brahman. In the Narad Pancharatra, devotional service of the Lord is likened unto a queen attended by her maid servants in the form of material opulence, liberation, and mysticism. Jayananda never had any hankering for these, and when they came, he simply used them in the service of Krishna. Special relationship with Srila Prabhupada. Jayananda had complete faith in Srila Prabhupada. He perfected his devotion by making the instruction of Srila Prabhupada uh, the very core of his life. He was advanced enough to realize that real association was through following the instructions of the spiritual master. Unlike most of the other devotees who would go out on their way to get some personal association of Srila Prabhupada, Jayananda was content to work in the background, carrying out his instruction. He exemplified the superiority of association by Vani, instruction, or over Vapu, personal association. Um, Srila Prabhupada would invariably call Jayananda when he was in the temple. Jayananda would resist, saying, "No, I cannot go. I am too dirty. I am too fallen." Such were the transcendental exchanges between the spiritual master and his dear disciple. In Chaitanya Chaitamrita Madhya Lila 19.151, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, among all the living entities wandering throughout the universe, one who is most fortunate comes in contact with the representatives of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. and thus gets the opportunity to execute the devotional service. Jayananda was one of these fortunate souls who came in contact with a pure devotee of the Lord and under his guidance was able to perfect his devotional life. Conclusion. Jayananda passed away on 1st May 1977. He joined the Krishna consciousness movement in 1967 when it was in its beginning and left the planet a few months before Srila Prabhupada. In the scriptures, it is said that when a pure devotee of the Lord appears to execute his will, their associates invariably accompany them. One cannot help but speculate that Jayananda only had come to serve his eternal spiritual master. The fact that Srila Prabhupada was on this planet at the time of his passing away is also significant. It let Srila Prabhupada affirms that everyone should follow the examples of Jayananda. His Holiness, His Grace Jayananda Prabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Prabhu. That's the
Jai.
best thing for the day. I mean, reading the glories of such a pure devotee. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. It is so purifying reading Jayananda's Prabhu's story. Okay, thank you so much. So that is from the events perspective, disappearance day of Shri Jayananda Prabhu today. Okay, we shall move into our daily Srimad Bhagavatam.
In Rath Yatra, every time they put his photo, is Jayananda Prabhu?
Yes,
Wherever Rath Yatra happening. So he's
yes,
okay. Yes.
yes.
Yes, Mataji, Prabhupada instructed, he had given that instruction to all the ISKCON temples that whenever there is a Rath Yatra, you try to put Jayananda Prabhu's photo. That's why.
Yeah, but it's so nice, like, while reading all this, how so good, how, pure devotee and how he has served everything. Mm-hmm. It's,
Thank you, Mataji. So we shall move into our daily Srimad Bhagavatam. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Hare Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, so Buddha was speaking to Vidura, so about Supreme Personality of Godhead. So everyone in the Vrindavana, they were attracted and attached to Krishna. So they could not even continue their activities once Krishna left Vrindavana, taken by Akrura. So after that, Uddhava said like Krishna has appeared when there was a friction between the devotees and the non-devotees. At that time, the Lord appears like a fire. स्वशान्तिरूपेषु इतरैः स्वरूपैः अभ्यर्धमानेषु अनुकम्पितात्मा परावरेषु महदंशयुक्तो ह्यजोऽपि जातु भगवान् यथाग्निः. So just Lord has appeared even though he is unborn. Ajopi, Jato Bhagavan Yatagnihi, he has appeared just like a fire. So after saying that, Uddhava further he is saying that so Krishna's appearance and his pastimes, they are very wonderful. And once he has left the battle in the just pretending that he is fearful of that. Likewise, uh, remembering those pastimes, uh, Buddha is saying, I'm too much lamenting about those things, remembering how Krishna has acted, how his birth has, he has taken birth in the prison house of Vasudeva, likewise mentioning, and then he is saying, I am too much lamenting about him. Likewise, Buddha is remembering. Okay, so we are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter 2, verse number 16. मां केऽध्येति एतदजस्य जन्म विडम्बनं यद् वसुदेवगेः व्रजे च वासोरि अभय रिभयाद् इव स्वयं पुराद्व्यवासीत् यत् अनन्तवीर्यः. Mam kedayati etad ajasya janma. Mam kedayati. So mam kedayati. It gives me too much stress. Mam kedayati. Mam is to me. Kedayati gives me distress. Etad ajasya janma. And the appearance. So previously he has said like the Lord has appeared. Yajope jato Bhagavan yatagnihi. The Lord have appeared like a fire. Now he is saying Mom, Yetad Ajasya Janma, and that personality of Godhead who is unborn and his appearance, Janma, what is that Janma is happening? It is Vidambanam, bewildering to Vidura. He is mentioning Yad Vasudeva Gehe, in the home of Vasudeva. Vrajecha Vaso Aribhayat Swayam, Vrajecha, in the Vrindavana also Vasaha. So he has lived in Vrindavan also. Vrajecha Vaso Aribhayat Jiva Swayam, and in the fear of the enemy. Ari is the enemy, Bhayat. Aribhayat Jiva Swayam, he personally, he himself, Purad Vyavasit, and from Madhurapuri, Vyavasit is he has fled from the battle. Yad Anante Viryaha, and Yad Anante, one who is Anantavirya, he is unlimitedly powerful. So though he is unlimitedly powerful, he fled from the battle when he was in the Madhurapuri, when he was fighting with the Jarasandha. And he lived in the Vrindavana, and his appearance was so wonderful. Remembering all these things, Mam Kedayati, and those that is giving me distress after saying Krishna has disappeared. And now remembering Krishna, and then now he is lamenting too much. It is giving me distress. Mam kedeti etad adasya dharma vidambhanam yad vasudeva gehe vraje च वासो अरिभयाद्यव स्वयं पुराभ्यवासीत् यद अनंत वीर्यः. The translation. When I think of Lord Krishna, how he was born in the prison house of Vasudeva, although he is unborn, how he went away from his father's protection to Vraja and lived there incognito out of fear of the enemy, and how, although unlimitedly powerful, he fled from Madura in fear. All these bewildering incidents give me distress. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, can I request any unallocated devotee to read this purport, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Purport by Divine Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Because Lord Sri Krishna is the original person from whom everyone and everything and everyone has emanated. Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. Bhagavad Gita 10.8. Janmadhyasya Yataha. Vedanta Sutra 1.1.2. Nothing can be equal to or greater than him. The Lord is supremely perfect, and wherever he enacts his transcendental pastimes as a son, a rival, or an object of enmity, he plays the part so he plays the part so perfectly that even pure devotees like Uddhava are bewildered. For example, Uddhava knew perfectly well that Lord Sri Krishna is eternally existent and can neither die nor disappear for good. Yet he lamented for Lord Krishna. All these events are perfect arrangements to give perfection to his supreme glories. It is for enjoyment's sake. When a father plays with his little son and the father lies down on the floor as if defeated by the son, it is just to give the little son pleasure and nothing more. Because the Lord is all powerful, it is possible for him to adjust opposites such such as birth and no birth, power and defeat, fear and fearlessness. A pure devotee knows very well. I think a pure devotee knows very well how it is possible for the Lord to adjust opposite things, but he laments for the non-devotees who not knowing the supreme glories of the Lord, think of him as imaginary simply because there are so many apparently contradiction statements in the scriptures. Factually, there is nothing contradictory. Everything is possible when we understand the Lord as the Lord and not as one of us, with all our imperfection. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. So this Prabhupada is mentioning, it is everything who understands the Supreme Personality of Godhead pastimes. Janma karma cha me devyam evam yo veti tatvatah chatvareham punajjanma naiti mam veti. So Arjuna, bringing oneself onto that transcendental platform. Sometimes activities of the Lord, they appear nice, some are not nice, but these are all pleasing to the devotees, but non-devotees, they cannot understand. In the home, so some children are maybe naughty, some children are favorable to the father's duties, but who is responsible child, he understands the mood of the father. He gives the protection, he feeds the family, he maintains the family. He wanted to give happiness to the all family members. So that is the mood of the father. Sometimes one child, maybe irresponsible child, may not like what father is trying to do it, but because of his less intelligence, a foolish child. So this is it is because of our materialistic perspectives. Uh, but from the Lord, it is all transcendental. Because the Lord Sri Krishna is the original person from whom everything and everyone has emanated. Aham sarvasya prabhavaha matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam bhuda bhava samanvitaha. A responsible child, he is always try to, though the activities are going on, but main thing is the loving exchange through those activities. That is important. Where there is love, there are no restrictions. Where there is love, no restrictions. But restrictions are there only to control to keep the living entities in the order, or to keep the family in the order. Where there is love, there is everything is an acceptance. And जन्माद्यस्य यतः जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयात् इतरशार्धेषु विघ्नस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादि कवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सुरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यदा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि. Vyasadeva initially he offers his obeisances to the Supreme Lord. Janma, everything Vedanta Sutra goes from 112. Nothing can be equal to or greater than him. So the Lord is supremely perfect. All his pastimes are muhyanti et surayaha. Even everyone are bewildered. And whenever he enacts his transcendental pastimes as a rival or an object of enemy, he plays part so perfectly that even pure devotees like Uddhava are bewildered. So this is very beautifully everywhere it is mentioned that everyone are bewildered. Brahma, Shiva, and all devotees, even demonic people, of course, they cannot enter into the pastimes. They also sometimes think that it is very wonderful. Yasyavatara gunakarma vidambhanani namani naman. So he says, Brahma says to Nardmuni, so all his pastimes are they're very wonderful. What can we do? How can we understand? We simply need to glorify him. So Brahma says to Narada Muni, after saying all Krishna's pastimes and different kinds of incarnations, his pastimes, and the creation of this universe, saying that um, यस्यावतार कर्माणि गायन्ति ह्यस्मदादयः नयं विदन्ति तत्त्वेन तस्मै भगवते नमः. So likewise, we can just only glorify him. Nothing more we try to understand. We can try, but devotees can enter a little bit into Krishna's pastimes. But other people, they cannot enter. So they are bewildering. So this is one side, Krishna's side. And even Krishna in the form of Lord Shiva, even he lives in the graveyard. And his pastimes also, Vidambhanam. Like the Krishna's pastimes are Vidambhanam, even Lord Shiva's pastimes are also Vidambhanam. He always lives in the graveyard along with both the Preta, Pisata, Kushmand, all Guhyakas, Vinayakas, all those things. But his pastimes he completely renounced. At the same time, his devotees are more opulent. His devotees are more opulent. And the mother goddess Parvati, so next to him, the goddess Parvati, who is the Durga Devi, God in charge of this material universe. So whatever he does, those are also pastimes. Many do these pastimes with Lord Shiva, they are also wonderful. That is Krishna's in another reflection in when he is acting as a deity for mode of ignorance to rule that quality. But he is pure. So here, for example, Uddhava knew perfectly well that Lord Shri Krishna is eternally existent and can neither die nor disappear for good. Yet he lamented for Lord Krishna. So how he can neither die nor disappear for good. So we see past times when how he has brought back the Sandipani Muni's son by going to the Yamadharmaraja's abode, he brought back, and also he brought back his elder brothers, Devaki Mata's first six sons, going to Bali Maharaj, and then brought all the six sons. Likewise, he did many pastimes and also crossed this universe and returned back those Brahmanas, 10 children, Krishna and Arjuna. How can he protect himself? So here, knowing all these pastimes, he knew perfectly well, Lord cannot die nor disappear for good. Yet he lamented for Lord Krishna because the separation. All these events are perfect arrangements to give perfection to his supreme glories. And it is for enjoyment's sake. And whenever father places, this is the analogy Prabhupada is giving, just like a father, when a little son, when child is of very tiny, 1 year, 2 years, something like that, as father is trying to play, it is everything is for the pleasure and enjoyment sake, nothing more. Okay, so that at the time, child is always thinking that, oh, father falls down, I have defeated the father like that. He feels so great. And looking at his feelings, the father feels so much of happy. So that is the between the devotees and the Lord. So because the Lord is all powerful, it is possible for him to adjust opposites such as birth and no birth, power and defeat, fear and fearlessness. So these are all arrangements. Everything happens only for the sake of the devotees. And he can adjust, everything is possible. We have got all the Astadasha Puranas, 18 Puranas are there, Upanishads are there, and Vedanta Sutras are there, Vedas are there, Itihasas are there, everything are there, only to understand him. And these are based on the person's quality, for them they are prescribed. For the pure devotees, Srimad Bhagavatam is prescribed. For people in the mode of ignorance, like there are six Puranas in the mode of ignorance, they are prescribed, but they are all transcendental. They are all transcendental because they will bring the consciousness gradually onto the transcendental plane. So, but a pure devotee knows very well how it is possible for the Lord to adjust opposite things. But the laments for the non-devotees who, not knowing the supreme glories of the Lord, thinking of Him as imaginary simply because there are so many apparently contradictory statements in the scriptures. Because of the contradictory statements, in one instance, Prabhupada was mentioning because of many people are getting bewildered, they cannot come into Krishna consciousness, saying that if there was only Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam were there, or just only Bhagavatam was there, it was so nice. So that everyone would have accepted Krishna without any further duplicity or contradictory statements. So in such a way, Bhagavatam is described on the glories of the Lord. But though there are all the Puranas are there, in each and every Purana, the same context, the activities are described, but different conversations, different reflections are recorded in different Puranas. but factually, there is nothing contradictory. Everything is possible when we understand the Lord as the Lord and not as one of us with all our imperfection. Yes. So here, when we are, for example, if we are trying to, one activity is happening. For example, I want to drink a water. I take a water and then drink. This is one activity. So there are 10 people looking at that one. One person is thinking, oh, this person may be thirsty. One person is thinking, oh, this water may be sweet. Another person is thinking, oh, this because this glass is so beautiful and why he is drinking. Another person may be thinking, why can't he drink in some other way likewise? But actually one thing is happening, but 10 different people, 10 different reflections. It is based on their consciousness. But devotees knows he wanted to drink water, he is drinking. That is what only a simple person understand. But other people, so complicated mind people, they have got different reflections. So factually, there is nothing contrary. Everything is possible when we understand the Lord as the Lord and not as one of us with all our imperfection. So this is everything is possible. All the 10 people reflections are possible. If million people see, there will be million reflections as well. So that is a very beautiful things. Likewise, by remembering these things, Buddha is lamenting, Mam Kedayati, Mam Kedayati. That is giving me distress just by remembering Krishna. This chapter name is Remembrance of Krishna. Mam Kedayati Yetad Ajasya Janma Vidambanam Yad Vasudeva Gehe Vraje Chavaso Aribhayad Jivasvayam Purabhyavasi Yad Ananta Viryaha. Yad Ananta Virya. He is Ananta Virya. Okay, so that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. We shall move to Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. Okay, so today letter to Krishna Kanti, August 1st, 1970, Los Angeles. It is a small letter. Can I request any other unallocated devotee to read this letter, please? Brother Sachi Mataji, would you like to read if you are available?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Okay, Prabhuji. My dear Krishna Kanti, please accept my blessing. I beg to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated 26 July 1970 and was very glad to note the contents. I beg also to thank you for the check which you enclosed for mm, $100 to my book fund, and I receive it very gladly as we have expanded recently so much for printing our literature, and we have many more many scripture ready for publication. I'm so happy to learn that both yourself and Sriman Gajendra are now married to two of my beloved daughters. I am proposing that our temples now be managed by the householder couples. So this is very nice for you now. Please take this opportunity offer you all my Krishna very seriously and do not misuse your life for sense gratification. You are very intelligent boy, I know, and a very sincere devotee of Lord Krishna. Now you have got a good wife who is also intelligent girl and devotee, so live peacefully working together for pushing on this Krishna consciousness movement for the ultimate benefit of all concerned. So you both, husband and wife, please take my blessing and blessing of Lord Krishna and be happy in Krishna conscious transcendental loving service. Please offer my blessing to Gajendra and his good wife, Hira Panchami. Hope this will meet you in a good health. Your ever well wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. Any take points, Mataji, from this letter?
Prabhuji, from here, then I understand that is Prabhupada know each of his disciple name, and he cared a lot of each of devotee, and like he care each of like all Prabhuji Mataji, all like everyone as his own children. And in some video of Prabhupada disciple, when I saw in the YouTube also, they usually say that the main thing they are attracted to Prabhupada is the way Prabhupada care them by like selflessly, and he was always there to teach them everything, not only related to Krishna conscious, but everything like cooking, like dressing, everything. So Prabhupada is like he knows to what to give to each of devotee. Hare Krishna Ramji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Very beautiful reflections. Any other points, dear devotees, you wanted to add? Sanjita Mataji, you wanted to add anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. In this letter, Prabhupada, we see how Prabhupada had nicely planned, like how would he would engage his disciples in spreading Krishna consciousness. So when a devotee was married, and they were very sincere and had those qualities, he engaged them. In like last week, I read a letter about Hamsaduta and Himavati, different places he was sending them to establish temples when the movement was spreading. And other devotees who were brahmacharis, he would engage them in like more physical work like book distribution, sankirtan movement, and all other things. So here the main thing is that Prabhupada knew that as couple, like within themselves, the material relation, they are loving to each other. Similarly, they would be able to serve Krishna more lovingly when they're serving as a couple. So he engaged many of his married devotees in the service of managing the temples, and that's the main message Prabhu in this letter. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, nice reflections. Okay, so live peacefully working together for pushing on Krishna consciousness movement for the ultimate benefit of all concerned. Okay, please take my blessing and blessings of Lord Krishna and be happy in Krishna's transcendent loving service. So, beautiful. Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, that is from Srila Prabhupada's letter. And the names are given to the disciples like Hera Panchami. It is so beautiful. By remembering, we remember all the pastimes of the Jagannath. So that is why we have got these Vedic names everywhere. Okay, thank you so much, Mataji. And from the updates point of view, so today evening we have got Bhagavad Gita session at 7 p.m. That is our upcoming event. And in the afternoon we have got a Krishna Club at 12 o'clock. Yeah, apart from that, dear devotees, if you got any updates, kindly share. Otherwise, we shall move into our Srimad Bhagavatam recitation. Okay, there are no updates, then we shall go to the recitations. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, first chapter. Okay, so the first 8 shlokas by Asha Mataji is not here. So in that place, can I request Gauringi Mataji to recite the shloka and then read the translation for the first 8 shlokas, and then next one is the for the second set 7 shlokas for Meenakshi Mataji, and then Usha Mataji next shloka. Meenakshi Mataji is 9 to 15, Usha Mataji is 16 to 21, and then later on there are 3 slots are there. If devotees are taking turns, and then we shall give the opportunity. Okay, Gauringi Mataji, would you like to start the recitation, Mataji? 1 to 8 shlokas, if you are available. Gauringi Mataji. Mrida Sachi Mataji, are you available to recite 1 to 8 shlokas, Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Okay, Prabhuji.
Yes, please, Mataji. You want to read Devanagari? Or English?
I think Prabhuji in English. I will.
Okay, in English. I just turn off that one. Devanagari. Okay. So 1 to 8 shlokas, English and then translation both.
Okay, Prabhuji. Srila Sukha Uvacha Evam itat pura pursto Maitriyo Bhagavan Kila Kasatra Vanam Pravistena Tayat Katva Savgram Radhihi Mat. Translation Sukadev Goswami said after renouncing his proposer home and entering the forest, King Vidura, the great devotee, asked this question of His Grace Maitreya Rishi. Yadva ayam mantra kritvo Bhagavan Akhila Sarvara Pauravendra Gram Hitva Pravivestamastakritam. What else is there to say about the residential house of the Pandavas? Sri Krishna, the Lord of everything, acted as their minister. He used to enter that house as if it were his own, and he did not take any care of a Duryodhan house. Rajo uvacha कुत्र कस्तूर्भगवता मैत्रीयना सङ्गं कदा वा सः संवाद इतद्वर्णयाना प्रभो. Translation The king asked Sukadev Goswami where and when did the meeting and discussion take place between Saint Vidura and his grace Maitreya Muni. Kindly oblige my lord and describe this to us. Text 4 न है अलपर्थोदयस्तस्य विदुरस्यामलात्मनं तस्मिन् वरिष्यसि प्रसन्ना साधु वदोपबृंहितः. Translation Saint Vidura was a great and pure devotee of the Lord, and therefore his question to his great Rishi Maitreya must have been very purposeful on the highest level and approved by learned circles. सुत उवाच स एव ऋषिवर्योऽयं प्रस्थो राजना परीक्षिता प्रत्ययः तं सुभुवित् प्रीतितं सूर्यतम् iti. Translation Sri Suta Goswami said the great sage Sukadev Goswami was highly experienced and was pleased with the king. Those being questioned by the king, he said to him, please hear the topic attentively. Text 6 Srila Sukha Uvacha Yada tu raja savasutan asadhun pushnam na dharmena vinasat dristi brihatur yavistasya sutan vivandun pravisya laksha bhavan dadaha. Translation Srila Sukadev Goswami said King Dhritarashtra became blind under the influence of impious desire to nourish his dishonest son, and thus he set fire to the lacquer house to burn his fatherless nephew, the Pandavas. Text 7 Yada Savayam Kuru Deva Dibhya Kesa Vimarasam Sutta Karma Garayam na varyam asanarfa sunyasah savasrahi haryata kucha kumani. Translation: The king did not forbid his son Dusashan's abominable action of grabbing the hair of Draupadi, the wife of the godly king Yudhishthira, even though her tears was the red dust on her breast. Text 8. धायुताव अधर्मेण जितस्या साधो सत्यावालम्बस्य वनं गत्सया न यच्छतो दत् समयानदायं तमोजुषनो यद् अजत् शत्रो. Translation: Yudhishthira, who was born without any enemy, was unfairly defected in gambling, but because he had taken the vow of truthfulness, he went off to the forest. When he came back in due course and begged to the return of his rightful share of the kingdom, he was refused by the Dhritarashtra, who was overwhelmed by illusion.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mata. Very beautiful recitations. Can I request Meena Mataji, verses from 9 to 15, please?
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. यदा च पार्थ प्रहितसंभया जगद्गुरुयानि जगाथ कृष्ण न तानि पुंसाम् अमृतायनानि राजो राजोरुमेने सतपुण्यलेस. Lord Krishna was sent by Arjuna into the assembly as the spiritual master of the whole world, and although his words were although his words were heard by some like Bhisma as pure nectar, it was not so for the others who were completely bereft of the last farthing of past pious works. The king Dhritarashtra or Duryodhana did take the word of Lord Krishna very seriously. Did not take the word of Lord Krishna very seriously. Yadu यदोपहूतो भवनं प्रविष्टो मन्याय पुस्तकितपूर्वजेन अथाह तन्मन्तदुषावर्यान् यमन्द्रियो वेदुरिकं वदन्ति. When Vidura was invited by his elder brother Dhritarashtra for construction, he entered the house and gave instructions which were exactly to the point. His advice is well known, and instructions by Vidura are approved by expert ministries of state. अजातशत्रो प्रतियश्च दायं तितिक्षतो दुविषहं सवागः सहानुजूयत्र वक्रोज्जरायि स्वसन्नरुषा यत्त्वमलम्ब विवेश. Vidura said, "You must now return the legitimate said to Yudhishthira, who has no enemies and who has been forbearing through untold suffering due to your offense. He is waiting with his younger brothers, among whom is the revengeful Bhima, breathing heavily like a snake. Surely you are afraid of him." Okay. पार्थास्तु देवो भगवान् मुकुन्दो गृहीतवान् देवदेवः आस्ते स्वप्रूया यदुदेवदेवो विनिजिताशेषनु देवदेवः. Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, has accepted the sons of Prithva as his kinsmen, and all the kings of the world are with Lord Sri Krishna. He is present in his home with all his family members, the king and princess of Yadu dynasty, who have conquered an unlimited number of rules, and he is their Lord. स एष दोषा पुरुषन् स दोष पुरुषद्विदास्ते गृहान् प्रविष्टो यमप्रयत्यमत्या पुण्यासि कृष्णादिमुखो गतश्री सत्यश्च सत्यश्च कौसलाय you are maintaining offense personified Duryodhana as your infallible son, but he is enemies of Lord Krishna, and because you are thus maintaining a non-devotee of Krishna, you are devoid of all auspicious qualities. Relieve yourself of this ill fortune as soon as possible and do good to the whole family. इत्युचिवास्तत्र सुयोधनन्ये प्रबुद्धकोपस्फुरिताधरेण असकृतं स्पृहयंसशीलः क्षतासकाणानुजसो बलेन. While speaking thus, Vidura, whose personal character was esteemed by respectable persons, was insulted by Duryodhana, who was swollen with anger and whose lips were trembling. Duryodhana was in company with Krishna, his younger brother, and his material uncle Sakuni. Hare Krishna. One more, Prabhu.
Yes, Mother. 15.
नयेन मन्त्रो पृजुहावचिह्नं दास्यासुतं यतलिनेव पुष्टः तस्मिन् प्रतीप परकृत्यास्ते निवास्यतमासु पुराशवासान्. Who asked him to come here, this son of kept mistress? He is so crooked that he spies in the interest of the enemy against those on whose support he has grown up. Toss him out of the palace immediately and leave him with only his breath. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So we shall move on. Thank you so much. Very beautiful recitations. Next, Usha Mataji, please. 16
Yes,
to
Prabhu.
21.
16 to 21. Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Swayam tanudari nidaya mayam भ्रातौ पुरो मर्मसु तरितोऽपि सहिष्ठमत्युमर्कणबाणे गतव्यथो मानयानि. Thus being pierced by arrows through his ears and affected to the core of his heart, Vidura placed his bow on the door and quit his brother's palace. He was not sorry, for he considered the act of the external energy to be supreme. सनिर्गतः कौरपुण्यलब्धो गचारिततीर्थपदः पदानि अन्वाक्रमत्यु पुण्यचिकीर्षमूल्या आदिकृतो यानि सहस्रमूर्तिः. By his piety, Vidura achieved the advantages of the pious Kauravas. After leaving Hastinapura, he took shelter of many places of pilgrimages, which are the Lord's lotus feet. With a desire to gain a high order of pious life, we travel to holy places where thousands of transcendental forms of the Lord are situated. पुरेषु पुण्योपवनाद्रिकुञ्जे अपानकतो येषु सरेत्सरःसु अनन्तलिङ्गैः समलङ्घकृतेषु चचार तीर्थाय तेनास्वन्यः. He began to travel alone, thinking only of Krishna through various holy places like Ayodhya, Dwarika, and Mathura. He traveled where the grove, hill, orchard, river, and the lake are all pure and sinless, and where the forms of the unlimited decorate the temples. Thus he performed the pilgrim's progress. गम्पर्यन्तमेद्यविवक्तुवृत्तिः सदा प्लुतोऽकः सन्न्यो शयनो अवधूतः अलक्षितः अवध sorry, अना अलक्षितः स्वेरवधूतवेषो व्रतानि चेरे हरितोषणानि. While traversing the earth, he simply performed duties to please the Supreme Lord Hari. His occupation was pure and independent. He was constantly sanctified by taking his bath in holy places, although he was in the dress of a mendicant and had no hairdressing nor a bed on which to lie. Thus he was always unseen by his various relatives. एतं रचना भारतमेव वर्ष कालेन यावद् गतवान् प्रभासन् तावच्च सा क्षितिमेकचक्रार् मैकातपत्रामचितेन पार्थः. Thus, when he was in the land of Bharatvarsha, traveling to all the places of pilgrimage, he visited Prabhakshet, Prabhasa Kshetra. At that time, Maharaj Yudhishthira was the emperor and held the world under one military strength and one flag. तत्राथ सहस्राथ सुहृदिनष्टि वनं यथा वेणुचहै संश्रयम् संस्पर्धयदाग्धमतानुशोचन् सरस्वतीं प्रत्यगियाय तृष्णिम्. At the place of pilgrimage at Prabhas, it came to his knowledge that all his relatives had died due to violent passion, just as an entire forest burns due to fire produced by the friction of bamboos. After this, he proceeded west, there the river Saraswati flows. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, we shall move next. Garingi Mataji, are you available, Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes.
So would you like to recite, just giving the next slot I'll give to you. It's from verses 22 to 33, Mataji, and Shankar Mataji is going to do from 34 to 45.
Okay, Prabhuji.
So, when you're ready, 22, 33. Time to start.
Okay, okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Tasyam tritasyo samanosa prito rathagne girasitasya vayoha tirtha sudasasya gavam guhasya yasedya devasya sahasi seve. Translation. on okay, on the bank of the river Saraswati, where there were 11 places of pilgrim, uh, namely one Trita, Usana, Manu, Prithu, Agni, Asita, Bhayu, Sudasa, Go, Guha, and Shraddha Deva. Vidura visited all the them and duly performed ritu, rituals. अन्यानि चेह द्विजदेवदेवैः कृतानि नानायतनानि विष्णुः प्रत्यङ्गामुख्याङ्किता मन्दिराणि यद्दर्शनात् कृष्णमनुस्मरन्ति. Translation. There were also many other temples of various forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, established by great sages and demigods. These temples were marked with the shape emblems of the Lord, and they reminded on always of the original personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. ततुर् ततस्तोतिव्रजसुराष्ट्रमृदं सौवीरमध्यसन् कुरु जङ्गलाच्यं कालेन तवद्यमुनामुपेत्य ततो ददवं भागवतं ददर्श. Translation. Thereafter, he passed through very wealthy provinces like Surat, Saubhira, and Matsya, and throughout western India, known as Kuru Jangala. At last, he reached the bank of the Yamuna, where he happened to meet Uddhava, the great devotee of Lord Krishna. स वासुदेवानुचरं प्रशान्तं बृहस्पतिः प्रतनयं प्रतीतम् आलिङ्ग्य गाढं प्रणयेन भद्रं स्वनामपृच्छद् प्रजानाम्. Translation. Then, due to his great love and feeling, Vidura embraced him. Uddhava, who was a constant companion of Lord Krishna and formerly a great student of uh, Brihaspati, Vidura then asked him for news of the family of Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead. कच्चित् पुराणो पुरुषो सोनाभ्य पद्मानुवृत्तेः किलवर्तिन आसाद् उर्व्यः कुशलं विधाय कृतच्छेनो कुशलं सुरगिः. Translation. Now please tell me whether the original personalities of Godhead who incarnate themselves at the request of Brahma, who is born out of the lotus flower from the Lord, and who have incarnated the prosperity of the world by elevating everyone, are doing well in the house of uh, Surasena. कच्चित्करुणं परमः सूरेन्नो भामः शास्ति सुखमङ्गशौरिः यो वै स्वश्रिणं पितृवद्ददाति वरान् वदान्यो वरतर्पणेन. Translation. Please tell me whether the best friend of the Kurus, our brother-in-law Vasudeva, is doing well. He is very munificent. He is like a father of his sisters, and he is always blessing to his wives. कचिदरुथाधिपतिर्यधुनं प्रादुर्युम्ना अस्ति सुखमङ्गवीरः यं रुक्मणिभवतोः विलेभि आराध्य विप्रान् स्मरामा दिसर्गे. Translation. O Uddhava, please tell me how is Pradyumna, the commander in chief of the Yadus, who was copied in a former life. Rukmani bore uh, him as her son from Lord Krishna by the grade of Brahmanas whom she placed. कचितसुखं सततवृष्णिभुजा दशर्हकणा मधिपः शास्ति यमाभ्यस्यञ्चात् पत्तनेत्रो नृपासनासं परिहृत्य दूरात्. Translation. Oh, my friend, tell me whether Ugrasena, the king of the Satvatas, Brisni Bhojas, and Dasarathas, in now doing well. He went far away from his kingdom, leaving aside all hopes of his royal throne. But Lord Krishna again installed him. कच्चिद्वारिः सौभ्यसुतः सदृश्य आस्तेयाग्रणीरथिनां साधुसम्भः असुतयं जम्बवती व्रताध्याय देवं गुहं यो अम्बिकाय तितो अग्रे. Translation. O gentle one, does Samba far well? He exactly resembles the son of the personality of Godhead. In a previous birth, he was born as Kartikeya in the womb of the wife of Lord Shiva, and now he has been born in the womb of Jambavati, the most enriched wife of Krishna. क्षेमां सकचिदयुयुधानास्ते या फाल्गुनालब्ध धनुरहस्यः लीवाजन्सद्यो सजसि वैव गतिं तदीयं यतिद विदुरापाम्. Translation. O Uddhava, does Yuyudhana far well? He learned the intricacies, of the military art from Arjuna and attained the transcendental dimension which is very difficult to reach even for great renoncers. कच्चिदबुधः स्वसत्यानामिवास्ते स्वफल्कपुत्रो भगवत् प्रसन्नः यः कृष्णपादाङ्कित मार्गपङ्क्सो स्वचेष्ट प्रेमा विभिन्नधैर्यः. Translation. Please tell me whether um, Akrura, the son of Svapalka, Sevapalka, is doing well. He is faultless soul surrendered unto the personality of Godhead. He once lost his mental equilibrium due to his ecstasy of transcendental love and fell down on the dust of road which was marked with the footprints of Lord Krishna. कच्चेजशिवं देवकभोजपुत्र विष्णु प्रजया इव देवमातुः या वै स्वगर्वेण दधार देवं त्रयी यथा यज्ञवितानामर्थम्. Translation. As the Vedas are the reservoir of sacrificial purpose, so the daughter of King Devaka Bhoja conceived the supreme personality of Godhead in her womb, as did the mother of the demigod. Is she Devaki doing well? Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Is a
Hare Krishna.
lot of mistake read from me, Prabhuji. Sorry about that.
You have done very beautiful recitations, Mataji. Very nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Special moment. Sanjita Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, you please forgive me. I'm asking in advance for my mistakes. And these Matajis have sung the Bhagavatam shlokas so nicely, but I can only read them. I cannot sing. But yeah, please bear with me. Hare Krishna. अपि स्विद् अस्ते भगवान् सुखं वो यः सात्ववतां कामदूधो अनिरुद्धः यमामनन्ति स्म हि शब्दयोनिं मनोमयं सत्त्वतुर्यतत्त्वम्. May I inquire whether Aniruddha is doing well? He is the fulfiller of all desires of the pure devotee and has been considered from Yod to be the cause of the Rig Veda, the creator of the mind and the fourth plenary expansion of Vishnu. Apisvid अन्ये च निजात्मा दैवम् अन्यावृत्त्या समानुवृता व्रता ये हृदिका सत्यात्मज चारुदेशेन गदादयः स्वस्ति चरणन्ति सौम्य. Also Bhavan, others such as Hridika, Charu Deshana, Gada and the son of Satyabhama, who accept Lord Shri Krishna as the soul of the self and thus follow his path without deviation. Are they well? Api swa स्वदोभ्या अपि स्वदोर्भ्यं विजयाच्युतभ्यं धर्मेण धर्मपरिपातिसेतुं दुर्योधनोत्पत्त्यत् यत्सभायां साम्राज्यलक्ष्म्या विजयानुवृत्त्या. Also, let me inquire whether Maharaj Yudhishthir is now maintaining the kingdom according to religious principles and with respect to the path of religion. Formerly, Duryodhan was burning with envy because Yudhishthir was being protected by the arms of Krishna and Arjuna as if they were his own arms. Kim va kritagheshwaghamat यमर्षि भीमो अहिवद दीर्घतामां व्यामुञ्चत् यशाङ्घ्रिपातं रणभूरनसेः मार्गं गदायाश्चरतो विचित्रम्. Please tell me whether the unconquerable Bhima, who is like a cobra, has released his long cherished anger upon the sinners. The field of battle could not tolerate even the wonderful playing of his club when he stepped on the path. Kachit Yashoda Rathayuthapana गाण्डीव धन्वोपरतारिरस्ते अलक्षितो यच्छकूटगूढो मायाकिरातो गिरिशस्तुतोष. Please tell me whether Arjuna, whose bow bears the name of Gandiva and who is always famous amongst the chariot warriors, are vanquishing his enemies, is doing well. He once satisfied Lord Shiva by covering him with arrows when Shiva came as an unidentified false hunter. Yamava utasvitanayau prithayaha parthera vrittau paksham Pakshamabhira Bhira Akshiniva Remata Uddaya Mridaswariktham Parat Suparnava Iva Vavajari Vaktrat. Are the twin brothers who are protected by their brothers doing well, just as the eye is always protected by the eyelid. They are protected by the son of Pritha, who snatched back their rightful kingdom from the hands of their enemies Duryodhan, just as Garuda snatched nectar from the mouth of Indra, the thunderbolt carrier. Aho Prithapi dhriyate 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 arbhakarthe राजर्षिवर्येण विनापितेन यस्त्व एकधीरो धीरथो विजिज्ञे धनुर्द्वितीयः ककुभश्चतरः. O my lord, is Pritha still living? She lived only for the sake of her fatherless children. She lived only for the sake of her fatherless children. Otherwise, it was impossible for her to live without King Pandu, who was the greatest commander and who alone conquered the four directions simply with the help of a second bow. सौम्यानुशोचे तमध पतन्तं भात्रे परिताय विदुद्रुहेयः निर्यापितो येन सुहृत्स्वपूर्य अहं पुत्रान् समनुवृतेन. O gentle one, I simply lament for him, Dhritarashtra, who rebelled against his brother after death. By him I was driven out of my own house, although I am his sincere well-wisher, because he accepted the line of action adopted by his own sons. Soham Harer Martya Vidambanena Drisho Nrinam Chalayoto विधातुः नान्योपलक्ष्यः पदवीं प्रसादाच्छरामि पश्यन् गता विमर्शोऽत्र. I am not astonished at this, having travelled over the world without being seen by others. The activities of the personality of Godhead, which are like those of a man in this mortal world, are bewildering to others. But I know of his greatness by his grace, and thus I am happy in all respect. नूनं नृपाणां त्रिमदोत्पथानां महीमुहुश्चालयातं चमूभिः वधात् प्रपन्नार्थी जिहीर्षयेषोऽप्य उपयक्षताघां भगवान् करुणाम्. Despite his being the his being the Lord and being always willing to relieve the distress of sufferers, he, Krishna, refrained from killing the Kurus, although they committed all sorts of sins, and although he saw other kings constantly agitating the earth by their strong military movements carried out under the dictation of three kinds of false pride. अजस्य जन्मोत्पथनाशनाय कर्मण्यकर्तुर्घ्राणा ग्रहणाय पुंसं नान्वव अन्यथा को हर्ति देहयोगं परो गुणानाम् उत कर्मतन्त्रम्. The appearance of the Lord is manifested by the annihilation of the upstarts. His activities are transcendental and are enacted for the understanding of all persons. Otherwise, since the Lord is transcendental to all material modes, what purpose would he serve by coming to earth? तस्य प्रपन्नाखिललोकपानामवस्थितानामनुशासने स्वे अर्थाय जातस्य यदुस्वजस्य वार्तां सखे कीर्त्य तीर्थकीर्तेः. O my friend, please therefore chant the glories of Lord, who is meant to be glorified by the places of pilgrimage. He is unborn, and yet he appears by his causeless mercy upon the surrendered rulers of all parts of the universe. Only for their interest did he appear in the family of his unalloyed devotees of the Yadus. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Please forgive me, Prabhu, for all the mistakes I made. I did not get much time to prepare.
Very
Hare
nice.
Krishna.
Mataji. So beautiful. Thank you so much. And all devotees, you have recited very nicely. Excellent. Okay, that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. So with that one, chapter 1, the recitation is complete. Okay, so now we are 10 minutes past 8 o'clock. So just we shall move into that Vaikuntha pastimes just a little bit. We don't go deep into it. It has been very long discussing those pastimes. So we have been chapter 16, the two doorkeepers of Vaikuntha. So just a kind of a refreshing what we have been discussing in that chapter. So this is the third canto, chapter 16, where the Lord he has glorified the Brahmanas, and then the four Kumaras, they're responding in glorifying the Lord and about his past, why he has done like that. So in the last session, we have been discussing until 23rd shloka. 23rd shloka. So in the 23rd shloka, so here the Lord was mentioning, the Kumaras, Nattam Diyuttama Kulam Yadihatma Gopam Gopta Vrushaha Swarhanena Sasundutena Tariheva Nakshati Sivastava Devapanta Loko Agrihishya Rushabasihi Tat Pramanam. Shubhasihi Tat Pramanam. So, O Lord, you are the protector of the highest of the twice born. If you do not protect them by offering worship and mild words, then certainly the auspicious path of worship will be rejected by people in general who act on the strength and authority of your Lordship. So here, Kumaras are glorifying the Lords and how devotees always keep their faith. Krutatmana Kruta Pranamsha Bhaktihi. So all of their life and soul worship the Lord. So because they are always engaged in the service of the Lord always protects them. Otherwise, so there he is saying, people will be rejected. Path of worship will be rejected by people if Lord does not protect the devotees in general. So, and who act on the strength and authority of your lordship. So people, they act because, as Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita, Manmana Bhavat Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namshkuru Mam Yevasi Yuktaivam Atman Matparayanaha. Always worship me. Ananya Chintayanto Man Ye Jana Paripasate Tesham Nityabhuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamiham. Krishna always says that you always remember me, you worship me, I will give you protection in all respects. On that strength, all the devotees they engage themselves in the devotional service. And here, spiritual master, like the captain of the ship, he drives, and we all follow behind the captain. So likewise, here taking that point, Kumaras are all glorifying the Lord in the 23rd shloka. So in that, that is the refreshment. In the 24th shloka, what they are saying, um, dear Lord, you never want auspicious path to be destroyed, for you are the reservoir of all goodness. Just to befit people in general, you destroy the evil element by your mighty potency. You are the proprietor of the three creations and the maintainer of the entire universe. Therefore, your potency is not reduced by your submissive behavior. Rather, by submission, you exhibit your transcendental pastimes. So this is the again glorifying the Lord in such a way, highlighting the humbleness, uh, your potency by your submissive behavior. That is one thing. The Lord is the creator, maintainer, and destroyer, and everything by is done by his representatives like Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. And here, so he's saying, they are saying, you are the proprietor of the three creations and maintainer of the entire universe. And whenever Lord is being submissive, like for example, with the actions, when he is treating how Sudama, uh, whenever Sudama has come to Krishna's home, so Sudama was sitting on the couch or in the nice chair, then Krishna and Rukmini are serving Sudama. And when Rajasuya sacrifice is happening, so there Krishna was washing the feet of all the Brahmanas and Rishis and sprinkling the water on top of his head and everyone else. That kind of submissiveness, it cannot reduce the potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So by submission, you exhibit your transcendental pastime, how he adore all the Brahmanas. So this is the Brahman, and here as soon as the Brahmanas are coming to the Vaikuntha, again these four Kumaras, and Lord is glorifying Brahmanas like anything. And I am not satisfied by eating through the fire sacrifices. I eat only through the mouth of the Brahmanas. Likewise, he is glorifying in so many ways. And they are, I just put the dust of the Brahmanas on top of my head. Even the Ganges comes from my lotus feet, which is worn by, uh, which is kept by Ganges is kept on top of his head by Lord Shiva. And but me, when it comes to me, I put the dust of Brahmanas on top of my head. Then who would not dare to keep the dust of the feet of Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas? Likewise, the Lord was glorifying. So in here, the Brahmanas are addressing those points. By submission, you exhibit your transcendental pastimes. That does not reduce your potency, likewise glorifying. So this is the shloka we need to continue, but we are not going into the deep for now. I request dear devotees, if you have got any other reflections on anything on Bhagavatam, or you wanted to share anything, kindly share. Any questions? And previously Buddha's pastimes or Vidra's pastimes, or you wanted to share anything on Krishna consciousness, that is absolutely fine. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, please, just want to like small request, like if it's possible, like when you saw this Sanskrit sloka as well, when
On that one, yeah.
like share like Sanskrit sloka as well.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you.
Any other sharings or reflections for the devotees? It is open for it is the devotees' time to reflect, or you ask, or you want to share anything on Saturday mornings.
Yeah, I just want to say about the Charananda, it's how by how he has done the work for Srila Prabhupada, how where he came from and how he's changed all his life, and it's so nice when Mataji was reading so much quality and how much he acquired, and he was so humble and he doesn't want to praise anything even though he was so much sincere devotee and senior still so yeah, that's something. If we can get something from him, it will be nice. And also he passed away before when Srila Prabhupada was here. So that is also something auspicious, isn't it? When Haridas Thakur also passed away before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left. So this is also something when his Guru Maharaj is there.
Yeah, Srila Prabhupada, he has mentioned as soon as he left his body, he has said, my dear Jayananda, so Prabhupada has written this letter. So here he has left his body, Jayananda Prabhu, on the May 1st. But Prabhupada has written a letter on 5th of May. My dear Jayananda, please accept my blessings. I'm feeling very intensely your separation. In 1967, you joined me in San Francisco. You were driving my car and chanting Hare Krishna. You were the first man to give me some contribution, $5,000 for printing my Bhagavad Gita. After that, you have rendered very favorable service to Krishna in different ways. I so hope at the time of your death, you are remembering Krishna, and as such, you have been promoted to the eternal association of Krishna. If not, if you have any tinge of material desire, you have gone to the celestial kingdom to live with the demigods for many thousands of years and enjoy the most opulent life of material existence. From there, you can promote yourself to the spiritual world. But even if one fails to promote himself to the spiritual world, at that time he comes down again on the surface of the globe and takes birth in a big family like the yogis or the brahmanas or an aristocratic family where there is again chance of reviving Krishna consciousness. But as you are hearing Krishna Kirtana, I am sure that you are directly promoted to Krishna Loka. जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम एवं यो वेति तत्पतः त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नैति माम येति सोऽर्जुन. Krishna has done a great favor to you not to continue your diseased body and has given you a suitable place for your service. Thank you very much. This one letter, um, Jayananda passed away on May 1st. Prabhupada, he has written 5th May 1977. After a few months, Prabhupada has also left this world.
Oh wow, so nice. Yeah. Prabhupada knew and so he's already in with the not coming this world again.
Yeah.
Wow, so nice. Yeah, and also I remember now also in every Rath Yatra his photo is always there. So whatever he has done, still everybody remember now as well after so many years. Yeah.
Yes. So purifying. This is the Lord's pastimes. Bhagavata means Lord and his devotees. When we hear those devotees' pastimes, it is all purifying. Here in the beginning, when Mataji was reading, so this is all purifying. That's why we spend enough time to read the pastimes.
Yeah, because he was so distressed and so much in after Prabhupada met in all his life and everything is changed. And yeah, I felt it.
Yes. And he was the eldest among tall, tall and big in the disciples of Srila Prabhupada in the beginning, in those days. He was a senior person, even in the age. Any other reflections, Sanchita Mataji?
Yeah, I mean, reading. Yeah, Meena Mataji very nicely glorified. I mean, he is one of, I mean, his association with Prabhupada during that time and reading through this pastime makes us feel that he was his Nitya Parshad who has just come to serve such a pure devotee. And when I try to reflect like how when Prabhupada had his 2 heart attacks and then he was feeling so uh, he was for a bit he was a bit stressed and tense that why are you doing this to me, Krishna, what is going to happen? And then Krishna he came in his dream and said like after this I will take care of you and nothing will happen. And um, to have Jayananda Prabhu as his right hand. First year, of course, there was a struggle for Prabhupada, but once he got a realization of Prabhupada, and the time when we see the timeline, I mean that shows that he was not just devotee with a material body. He was definitely a Parshad sent by Krishna from his Litya Leela. Just came with so much of education. I mean, we do not feel qualified enough to just glorify Jayananda Prabhu. It's like so much to learn this, and so no matter how much we say, like in this lifetime, like in Srimad Bhagavatam, we read the pastimes which happened in different yugas, right? Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and we just read about that. But this happened in our lifetime, just the previous generation, when Prabhupada was there and Jayananda Prabhu was there, and they showed like being a true Mahabhagavat, like how even with so much of material qualification, so much of opulence, I mean, Lord has given him everything, and but still kept his heart empty. And with that empty heart, the desire to find who I am, he came. And just being there at the right, they say like being at the right place at the right time. And he from day one he was there for his lectures, listening to Srimad Bhagavatam. And sometimes in the past time it says like sometimes it was only him Prabhupada was speaking to. So it was like his son, I'm cooking for him, feeding him prasadam, having prasadam from a pure Bhagavad. That itself purifies you so much. So all that 10, 12 years he got and Prabhupada got to spread Krishna consciousness movement. We can have never enough words to glorify him, what he has done, and how humble his approach was. Trinada Peshunichena Tarurapi Sahishnuna. Like even with that, I mean, cleaning, when I was reading through like clean, being with the, bin mans, and how even though, I mean, the attitude that being able to, being with saints and ruffians, that qualities of the Sat Goswamis, like they were equal to everyone. Uh, Even like with non-devotees, like they used to say, we like your movement because of Jayananda. Even the mayor who was not giving permission, and for Rath Yatra. And when she heard such a tough lady, and she also cried, like, so non-devote, I mean, of course, with the heart like that and with service like that, definitely Prabhupada and his disciples and the other devotees would definitely be like, so inspired. But being able to touch the heart of so many non-devotees, like, I mean, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did, he was truly in his Sankirtana party spreading the mission, and like the money he got for his treatment, how he towards the last stage, I mean, I think once, I don't know, I can't remember now whether it was that same year, or not the same year when it's passed away, but I think another year, I think one of the rath, it was collapsing, I think it was breaking because it was not made properly. And next day it was Rath Yatra, and he spent the entire night fixing that rath. And next, so that Lord Jagannath, Subhadra Devi, and Lord Balaram, they can, come on the chariot yatra. But I mean, so that really, I mean, I mean, it was really a disaster. Like nobody had hoped that it can be fixed. But how he took that, challenge and work throughout the night patiently and calmly, not getting stressed, and make the rath ready. For the Rath Yatra, that itself is an amazing pastime itself. And that's the reason when Prabhupada said, like, and of course, next year when he was leaving his body, um, how from his deathbed he is able to call these people to get, permission and all. It is not easy. So talking to, through instructing his associates, and getting the thing done like that, and using all that money was given for Krishna consciousness, just thinking that I will leave, this body has got served its purpose. And he want, I mean, as Mataji very nicely reflected, that how, like, leaving the body before the spiritual master by his side, I mean, nothing can be more glorious. Like, so, I mean, he got that opportunity, like Haridas Acharya. So this, like, and then Prabhupada was really heartbroken. Like, he one of the letters he said, like, I feel the separation. He has never said it for anybody, any of his disciples. He said, I feel separation of uh, Jayananda Prabhu. So that, like, it was not like, sometimes we also feel separation when our own near and dear ones pass away. But Prabhupada's separation was so much transcendental, and we see how he also lived only a few months after that, and he also left his body. So, I mean, yeah, Prabhu, like, it can be never enough words to glorify, like, how we got to, like, as I mentioned, read Srimad Bhagavatam and learn all these pastimes, and we get in our lifetime to just not many years back, just only 50 years back, how he came and he served, and like became Prabhupada's right hand to do everything, just following, serve the Lord. And as, I mean, yeah, that's in the scriptures, it, as you highlighted, it is said that when pure devotees of the Lord appear to execute, their associates invariably, yeah, accompany them. So yeah, he was a Pashnitya Pashad, so he came to serve Prabhupada. Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. It was really nice to start the day reading about Jayananda Prabhu. So very fortunate we are to be in Krishna consciousness, learn about such devotees, and do our best. No matter how much we do, we are like not at all pure to be able to match. But as Lord Ramachandra said, even as he glorified Hanumanji, he glorified the squirrel also, who served just bringing little sand and little stones to make the bridge. So no matter how much we do or how less we do, it's still, we just have to think that Krishna has given us this opportunity to serve. So much happening in this world, we still, I mean, it is enough reason to be stressed. But this Krishna consciousness keeps us like rooted, stable, calmer. So we cannot thank Prabhupada enough, like, for his movement and we being fortunate souls to be serving in some way. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jayananda Prabhu ki jai, Hare Krishna.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. It's so beautiful, Mataji. So, on reflection, people who does not have any knowledge on Krishna consciousness, they might have just got up and been going independently. Some states like that, depressed or something like that. And then as soon as they come to Krishna consciousness, they immediately attach and they engage themselves like Jayananda Prabhu. And they are very fortunate to always they live like life and soul and serve the spiritual master in Krishna consciousness like that. But some of the souls they come to this material world, they have got little bit of knowledge. They're in the middle. Some they wanted one step in the Krishna consciousness or in the devotional life, another step in the material world. They are the people who are always hanging here in this material world. And pure devotee, Shuddha Bhaktas, they will go away from the material world. But people who wanted to who cannot take steps in the life, they stuck up. They know, but they cannot go. They have got some material things and some spiritual things. They're always stuck up. Those stuck up for a long time. So that is one thing. But otherwise, so like Jayanand Prabhu, it is very rare. One side completely cut, another side completely devoted. It's a two different phases. But people, some from the beginning, they are in the half until the end, and then come back again.
Yes, Prabhu. So this is Sukriti, like, it's from past life. It's like he's carrying that thing. So that's why he got to completely be cut off from material and then, I mean, as you mentioned nicely, to be fully engaged till his last breath. It's not easy. So it must be some Sukriti. We are like still busy doing our anartha nivritis. So our karmic, I mean, his material things were finished, like whatever he wanted to do. He only did, of course, he served, being an engineer from Ohio State University, he served as a taxi driver. Like he could have done so much being a professor or something, but just because Prabhupada needed like distribution here, there, going somewhere, he decided to be there. And no, because Prabhupada needed immediate money, so he used to work all day doing material duty, not duty, I mean, of course, to get the money to serve Srila Prabhupada's movement. So he thought, because taxis are very popular and common, it's quick money, and you earn every day. That's like, if you can relate it that way, because even if you're a professor, he'll get salary end of the month, but taxis, like whatever money every day he used to give, he used to come back and give it back to the temple. And for that, like how he helped every day, because that time my money was more important. And even then, go and sell incense stick, like incense run, it said how so he's an uttam adhikari. No, I mean, words we can. And whoever has written this on his glorifying article has very nicely, like, mentioned, like paragraph wise, his qualities, like what are the qualities, all the qualities is highlighted of the Uttamadhikari devotee, one after another, after giving his background. And like he had like all being handsome, intelligent. I mean, he could have fitted, but of course we need Sukriti to end it. I mean, give up completely and then be in the movement completely, so that all his anartha was over or taken care of. So he was not in the trapping, like we are trapped half here, half there, and maybe it will continue till the end of our life, not sure.
This is Kalakanta Das, I think, written by Kalakanta.
Oh, okay. Yeah, later, his all his qualities he has given, all the different paragraphs he has made, humble. Yeah. And if you go slowly, Prabhu, then we can just go through them, revise them once again. Prabhu, if you just scroll down slowly through the article, later, yeah, and then background, and then he has given all the qualities, right? A bit lower, beginning, and then, yeah, I think a bit later. And how nicely he has associate, attraction to Krishna. These ones. Yeah, very nicely. Mostly with Chaitanya Charitamrita, because he had the personality like that. So yeah, so spill the flow to. I mean, if this prasadam was, and even before that, he's saying the way, how he used to say prasadam. That used to make people have some prasadam, and he would lick up anything which was on the floor. So all these attraction to Krishna, all these different paragraphs that he has made about his qualities. It's so like it's so nice to read. Yeah. And then later, humility. Yeah. How he just worked with, as a garbage man. I mean, that he said the temple is blissful because you have devotees like Jayananda. So I mean, and he's thinking that if the rubbish man is so nice, then of course, how many rest of the temple? What he just trying to imagine how the rest of the devotees would be. So uh, beautiful pastimes and very nicely written also. And service attitudes, it's no comparison to that, like whether he was giving, I mean, and one of somewhere I read, like he only preached the neophytes when they used to come, he used to preach, but later when they get senior and everybody, all the devotees, they want to preach and go to different temples and do the I mean, if you can say the top jobs for in like deity service and all that, he could have easily done, but he always chose to do what others maybe did not like, to do, carry on. So he menial services, he was happy doing that. And no much after how much physical work he did, washing dishes and all that, he never stopped, and then he would again go and do kirtans. Seemed inexhaustible. So all that energy was Krishna's energy physically, like what he's saying, of course, so much of physical work of washing dishes, cleaning kitchen, taking trash, and running all the time, running, getting flowers and all, doing all the seva, and then also uh, have a nap and then get into kirtan and all that. So the service, I mean, this kind of service attitude, it's so much to we need to learn. Like it will take lifetime for us. Yeah, and Krishna has so nicely said, my devotee to Arjuna, that my devotees are the ones who. There was something, I think. And then freedom from fault finding. So he was always never criticized anyone. Just even if some harsh word somebody was saying about other people, he used to go out of the room, not engage in there, not try not to listen, or say something that they must have sent something by mistake naturally, and never criticize. So like that as like signs of pure devotee, like the six course. I mean, that's why he was called Uttamadhikari, highest level of perfection in sadhana bhakti. Like eh, for us, like even something, slight things, sometimes they put us off, or we sometimes lose our temper. But how I mean, he's all the time equipoised for everyone, and that's why he was dear to everyone. So that's what's in the next quality says, the dear to everyone, dear to gentle and the ruffians, as the six Goswamis. So yeah. And yeah, we discussed this, how the San Francisco mayor also like cried when he found out that he has passed away, and called him by different nice names, Johnny, Ananda, like giving pleasure, Ananda. Then mm, wherever he met, like he did not give much philosophy. Through his love and service attitude, he touched so many hearts. Yeah, Jananda's heart would touch even the most cynical. That's true. Yeah. Expert in engaging everyone. So like we discussed, non-devotees of course do engage in Krishna consciousness after being Prabhupada disciple. They were so fortunate, definitely they engaged, but to be able to engage everyone, even the non-devotees, even how he engaged during the Rath Yatra, before the preparation time, he used to engage everyone in making that, and preach everyone, the hippies also, like this nice small pastime when he was fixing a automobile, and his only two legs could be seen, and the two hippies, they were so focused and they listened to what Jananda Prabhu was saying. So even do, I mean, that's something ultimate, like, doing, of course, like when we cook and do something else, we do keep chanting or do some things, but like, fixing, I mean, we only chant, but chanting is like, we know these, the Maha Mantra, and we chant, but I'm just trying to visualize that, fixing an automobile, it takes a lot of concentration. It's not an easy job. So he's doing that and still glorifying Krishna, not with Maha Mantra, with some definitely teaching. Like, so just two hippies, that they got transfixed in listening to him, even only they could see his two legs. So like, this, like, don't have words to explain this. And materially renounced, definitely, of course, he had given everything, working after 12 to 14 hours a day, driving his cab, and then giving all the money he was given for his treatment and support the Rath Yatra, and whatever, money he used to get, like, he never, even when he was a householder, he did not have any possessions. So these were the signs, like, uh, of pure devotees. Once I was like reading Radhanath Maharaj's, like, when somebody was glorifying. So even when he was a householder, he never liked sitting on this, dining table and chair to have food, dinner, when his mother served. He always liked sitting on the floor, and he never liked to be glorified. He never, even though he was very good in studies, very humble and all these. So these attitudes, like, even he had no concept, but he was always searching for his true self, and that's how his journey home book began. So even, I mean, in the material life, they do exhibit these qualities, and of course, when they find spirituality and come in the movement, definitely they do so much, prosper so much, become uttamadhikari, like, not wasting any more time. So materially renounced is one of those qualities, like, how he understood that Prabhupada has come from the East, and money was everybody wanted to serve as temple presidents, like Hamsadutta. We hear like how he had a fall, Himavati's husband. He wanted material position. He wanted to be glorified in Germany. He back, and then positions after becoming one of the 11 acharyas. He, being a swami, he wanted was that his worship, like he wanted him to be worshipped, like he wanted his disciples to worship him, and all that led to his fall. But he never took such service, because he knew that for his movement, money is important. So for 12 to 14 hours he spent doing, working in, like, material job, because he knew money would help Prabhupada make this movement successful. So he was not into, like, full-time preaching or full-time sankirtan, but full-time working just to serve Prabhupada with some money, but yet at the same time not using that money for his own benefit. And what more can we know? Because when we see that even in his deathbed, when he was given the money for his treatment, he gave that for the Rath Yatra. And also the devotion, all glories to his devotion in service, his body, his breath, everything, his mind, like with all his heart and soul, his words, he was into that movement. So, and of course, the king of Rath Yatra, what can we say? He was a backbone for the Bay Area Rath Yatra for so many years, and for organizing anything. When there was temple, and then things were going on in the temple, it's like mostly devotees or neophytes, but it's Prabhupada had given a structure, how to do things. He had given things, he had given the instructions. But like Rath Yatra is a festival where you need to do it on the public road. You need the so many, permissions from the police, the mayor, the authorities to block the roads and all that. That was not easy to managing people in the material life, like in the higher authority people. So, but he to do that and to build the rath also. I mean, that was made from scratch. So to do everything, to organize a festival outside. I mean, deity worship, we understand that, we get deities we in the temple, they worship, but building the cart and doing things from scratch, and then look, we say like he's the king. That's why Prabhupada is glorified, king of Rath Yatra. Like, he, and then that's so humble. Like, after the Rath Yatra, he would go with a piece of cake or a pie to each of the person who has helped with the festival. That might not be like, all the devotees all the time. It must be non-devotees and all the other people on the road, the hippies and all. So whoever had helped him, he would go in the Bay Area. He was very popular. So, and give him a piece of cake as a prasadam. So that's why he had an amazingly harmonious relationship with the city officials and all the other people. So, and mystic opulence, of course, it was Krishna. So yeah, without mercy, all this we see never can happen without with Krishna's hand. So he was. It is said that pure devotional service brings so much opulence, and the devotees never seek out for them. Once they are there, they're used to for this. They use it for the service of Krishna. So whatever money he earned, he used it for the service of Krishna. And Jayananda Prabhu, whether sleep or no sleep, as we discussed earlier, like how he helped um, mm, with the Rath Yatra. And the mystic opulence here is like if somebody is in the last days, an intravenous, like, treatment, which is like only on fluids, we cannot think of like, anybody not obeying the doctor's instruction advice and having like prasadam. He's having plates of samosas, potatoes, cheese potatoes, buckets, he's saying buckets of halwa, and not have any side effects. So that is of course mystic opulence, because nobody normally also we can only have after, we cannot have two plates of prasadam, but he has so much appetite for prasadam, and of course that gave him so much of energy to carry out all the physical work. But that was okay. But even in his last days, when he was on the fluids, that time also he's just having prasada. So this is causeless mercy. I mean without that, I mean, anybody would have some side effects, some reaction, no matter, even if it's prasad. It's not easy, but he showed that the potency of prasadam. So he would sleep during the Bhagavatam classes, but later, look at his mystic opulence, that he was able to quote from the class and have deep discussions with the devotees. So that all this, like, he was, because he was tired, he used to fall asleep, but then also able to quote from the class. So yeah, I mean, very nicely glorified. This is one of the best articles written. I mean, and special relationship with Srila Prabhupada. So definitely, he was like his father, spiritual father, and under his guidance, he carried out all his instructions and of course he liked to do that in the background. Like, even if Prabhupada used to call him for personal association, he would call him when he was in the temple, but Prabhupada, he would resist by saying that I cannot go, I'm dirty, I'm so fallen. And I mean, these are like transcendental, like even people, his devotees used to like die for, always hankering from Prabhupada's association, right? Like Prabhupada used to travel all over the world, but whenever he was here, everybody used to like want his association. But even when Prabhupada is calling him, like, have association, even then he's saying no, he's like dirty, he's doing some dirty like work and all that, cleaning and all. So I mean, among all the living entities were wandering throughout the universe, one is most fortunate who comes in contact with the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus gets the opportunity to execute devotional service. He was so much into devotional service that association also, I mean, Prabhupada's association, of course, he knew Prabhupada. He mostly believed in his Vani. It says, I think later, that he, in his Vani, because his Vani, he had taken all the lessons and he's been in the lessons, he's got the main message of the Bhagavatams or Bhagavad Gita, and he took his spiritual master's Vani more than Vapu, like more than physical association. He wanted his to be able to do his devotional service. Perfect was able to his guidance was able to help to his able to perfect his devotional life, and by doing devotional service. So that service attitude was more important for him than having association. That itself shows. I mean, that's an amazing quality. Who will not? I mean, just we're trying to visualize that if Prabhupada was here, we would all love to get a little bit of his time association. But look at him, even Prabhupada being here, such an old man, he knew that he will also leave his body, but he's still doing his doing service. So yeah, no matter how much sorry it took so much of time, Prabhu. I mean, we can never glorify Jayananda Prabhu. So yeah, again, all glories to his amazing, inspirational, devotional service, and all glories to Srila Prabhupada for glorifying him. And Prabhupada, such a visionary. Of course, we tell that all the time, that so that the new devotees, the disciples, whoever come in the movement, sometimes we do not know all the 5,000 disciples of Prabhupada, but Prabhupada made sure that everyone learns about Jayananda Prabhu some way or the other. He instructed that during, because Rath Yatra we see, few years back also there were only maybe 10 or 15. Now we see more than 25 Rath Yatras, even only in UK, and forget about other countries. So Rath Yatra is spreading. So Mahaprabhu's message is spreading in every town and village, which is so nice. But Prabhupada knew that this will happen on the instructions of, on the prophecy of Nityananda Prabhu. So in that, he made sure that everyone learns about Jayananda Prabhu. So he made sure that his photo is kept, so that people will inquire. When we first saw the first Rath Yatra, of course we knew Prabhupada. So first inquiry is, who is this devotee? So we did not know, and then somebody said Jayananda Prabhu, and then we search and find out, and then we missed his amazing pastimes are open to us. So yeah, so every curious soul, they would want to ask, who is this Prabhu, beside Prabhupada. So that's why Prabhupada made sure that on every Rath Yatra, if possible, just keep Jayananda Prabhu's photo, so that he's there, sitting on the Rath beside Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra Maharani and Srila Prabhupada, and glorifying the devotees, glorifying him, and his legacy continues. So yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Sorry I took a bit long time. Hare Krishna. Got
Hare.
a bit carried away.
Thank you, Mataji, for kindly describing about the pastimes of Jayananda Prabhu. Okay, so thank you so much. Any other comments, dear devotees, you wanted to add?
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. You explained so nicely everything, all this. Just one, a small point, he said, here in the letter also mentioned that he doesn't like to praise him. If somebody praise him, he has to leave the association him. So it's so nice of that quality, because now everybody, not most of them, like the press, and then he said he doesn't like, and they have to leave their association. So that is so good quality as well.
Yes, Mataji, very nicely. And thank you for highlighting that. That's one of the most important quality, and you could highlight that because you yourself, you are like that. I can
Yeah.
associate. You with so much, you maybe does not come in the picture that way, but how much you do. How you go to the dhams, and Amoga Prabhu was saying, with slippers, without slippers, you can sleep. Prayag Dham, even how you
Not me,
do
no, don't say
much.
anything, please. No.
So down to earth and humble. Of course, I'm not trying to compare you, but that is a very important quality that, and he, as you mentioned, that he, wherever there was praise, he would say, if you want my association, then don't mention about me. So that is a quality of a true devotee. So yeah, thank you for highlighting that. Yeah, I missed that point. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Krishna. No, you explained so nicely, but I just at this point. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you so much.
He got love from Jagannath as well, isn't it? By doing this Rath Yatra and making. Because Jagannath is like Kali Yuga, like, Bhagavan of Kali Yuga. So there's so much mercy from him as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So Jagannath is blessing, and the movement is, we can see
Yeah.
how the Rath Yatra is spreading. So,
No,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he's Jagannath, so Lord of the
Mm,
universe. So, yeah, we have
mm,
Rath Yatras coming,
mm,
some of them. Yeah, if we can attend, it'll be nice. Yeah, I mean, this association, like it's so A, B, C, D, A is association, like this, even with association of devotees, we feel so much peaceful, glorifying, learning so much, like with so much going around the world, people get so stressed. But see, just I'm trying to reflect, like even with these few hours of association since morning, that gives us so much peace. That's why Prabhupada wanted, like, the morning temple routine, like how they come for Mangla and then chanting and then darshanarti, Bhagavatam class, and then they get. That's why how our Swami Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj, he mentions, like, to be able to ready for 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. job or your job. So what you do from this 5 p.m. till 9 a.m. is very important. Like how we, of course. Uh, being in temple, they again can, after doing the, like, as brahmachari living in the temple and going out for book distribution and sankirtan, they can again come back, have association, have sandhya arti, read Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and have prasadam. They still have that. So Prabhupada, I mean, it was such a nice medicine or instruction to make all these hippies. I mean, they were so much had, like, what was the right word? I mean, from anarthas, but so quickly it got purified. Anartha nivriti was so quick, just following that, the instructions of, like, how the brahmacharis did. So what they did, 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., but they made, like, the weapons and the astra shastra, they were all, armed with the, weapons of the shastra. The shastras were their astra, and that's why they could, even then the wars were going on, so much was happening, but they could spread the movement so quickly. So even now we're living at that time. So spreading up, even if I mean, Devashish Prabhu said this, like, Indo-Pakistan war, what should devotees do? They should chant. So chanting and makes us more calmer, listening to Bhagavatam, association of devotees, and then we can use it as a shastra, as a weapon to help even people who are so stressed, families, friends, everywhere you call India, people are so stressed. They might not be in Krishna consciousness, but doing some ritualistic service and as, like, puja and all, but they are still so stressed. So if we can use it as preaching as a shastra, even few words to them, that makes them calmer. So that should be our shastra during these trying times. We are also living during difficult times, especially in India, but you never know when it comes back, comes, like, it triggers, like, we never know. It's very challenging times, but so many yagyas going on. Like yesterday, the yagya which was going on in Mayapur Dham, it was so nice to watch that. Like, everybody in Krishna consciousness doing through this, the power of prayers is so important. Like that helps, like, to because our country is our mother, so it's to serve our mother in a way, like through prayers and through some preaching. That's the best we can do. We are not equipped to be serving at the line of control, but yeah, we can do some for our families, friends in India. this time it helps. Yeah.
So that
Hari.
Sudarshana Yajna is that being performed by Temple Mataji for the sake of our country.
Yes, yeah. The big, yeah, it was so nice yesterday, after our session when the extended chanting continued and we had that Sudarshan, yagya, that big yagya kund, the fire. It was so, I mean, of course, everybody was chanting. We didn't say anything, but it was so auspicious to watch. And then myself and Pranshu, we were chanting, and then I was telling, like, we have to make our sankalpa and ahuti, like our Mahamantra ahuti to that yagya for the country. Yeah, so that's
Especially the
in that mood.
soldiers, yeah, who are in the war, like right now, this operation is going on. Seeing the operation because of this